Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjanaya Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjanaya Yamunatira Vanacharya Yamunatira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtatara Shata Shishimat His Divine Grace Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad-gita Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Reading from Bhagavad-gita as it is. Chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute. Text number 13. Tribir gunamair bhavair Ebi sarva midam jagat Mohitam nabijanati Mamebhya param avyayam Tribir gunamair bhavair Ebi sarvam midam jagat Mohitam nabijanati Mamebhya param avyayam Gunamair bhavair Bisarva midam jagat Mohitam nabijanati Mamebhya paramavyaya Bir gunamair bhavair Bisarvam jagam jagat Mamebhya paramavyaya. Virbhunamair bhavai Visarvam hidam jagat Mohitam nabijanati Mamebhya paramavyaya Tri Gunamaya, consisting of the gunas. Bhavai, by the states of being. Evi, all this. Sarvam, whole. Idam, this. Jagat, universe. Mohitam, deluded. Na abhijanati, does not know. Mam, me. Ebhyam, above this. Param, the supreme. Avyayam, inexhaustible. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Purport. The whole world is enchanted by three modes of material nature. Those who are bewildered by these three modes cannot understand the transcendental to this material nature is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Every living entity under the influence of material nature has a particular type of body and a particular type of psychological and biological activities accordingly. There are four classes of men functioning in the three material modes of nature. Those who are purely in the mode of goodness are called Brahmanas. Those who are purely in the mode of passion are called Kshatriyas. Those who are in the mode of both passion and ignorance are called Vaishyas. Those who are completely in ignorance are called Shudras. And those who are less than that are animals or animal life. However, these designations are not permanent. I may either be a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or whatever. In any case, this life is temporary. But although life is temporary and we do not know what we are going to be in the next life, by the spell of the illusory energy, we consider ourselves in terms of this bodily conception of life, and we thus think that we are American, Indian, Russian, or Brahmana, Hindu, Muslim, etc. And if we become entangled with the modes of material nature, then we find the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is behind all these modes. So Lord Krishna says that living entities deluded by these three modes of nature do not understand that behind the material background is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many different kinds of living entities, human beings, demigods, animals, etc. And each and every one of them is under the influence of material nature. And all of them have forgotten the transcendent personality of Godhead. Those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, and even those who are in the mode of goodness, cannot go beyond the impersonal Brahman conception of the Absolute Truth. They are bewildered before the Supreme Lord in His personal feature, which possesses all beauty, opulence, knowledge, strength, fame, and renunciation. When even those who are in goodness cannot understand, what hope is there for those in passion and ignorance? Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these three modes of material nature, and those who are truly established in Krishna consciousness are actually liberated. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prashtaya, Bhutale, Shimate Praladananda, Swami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prashtaya, Bhutale, Shimate Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Pashyate Adeshatarine, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, everyone is influenced by these three modes, almost everyone. And of course, it doesn't matter which mode. Most people are in ignorance. We are also sometimes in ignorance. As I said before, these three modes of material nature, they explain many things, you know. I'm still amazed how you talk with people, and they're like, yeah, this is the solution. And they don't know. They have no idea, you know. Why are people in depression? Why are people not motivated? How to deal with addictions? Alcohol, drugs, sex, these kind of things. Mobile phone. This is the root cause of all addictions, especially sex stuff. Anyway, anxiety. So you can explain many things if you just understand these three modes of nature. It's simple solution. There is simple, very simple progression to understanding all these things. Very simple explanation to all of these topics, you know. You can have a workshop on depression. Okay. It's the same as the workshop on addictions. It's the same. Because, and it's very simple. What is the diagnostic? I don't know if they do it here, but in Romania, the devotees will diagnose you. Say, you are in Tamogun, Prabhu. This is the solution for, you know, this is the diagnostic. Good diagnostic, you know, actually. Of course, Tamogun has different varieties, there's different flavors of Tamogun. But yeah, the diagnostic is very simple. You're in depression? Yeah. Why? Because you're in Tamogun, of course, obvious. So diagnostic is very simple. For us, for most people, it's not very simple. So then you have to find a solution. And the solution is not something simple. Or not as simple as people want. It's the solution. Because you have to have a, what is called holistic solution. What does it mean? It means that everything matters. Everything you do, it matters. The whole day, whatever you do the whole day, that's what you get. Yoga and all this spiritual practice are meant to be 24/7. So it's not, Srila Prabhupada was always joking about these people who meditate for half an hour every day, you know, and then they elevate to higher consciousness. And the rest of the day, they just do some nonsense. It's like, what kind of progress can you do like this? You know? Actually, it's in Yoga Sutra, Patanjali Muni compares to rowing a boat. Half an hour you row in one direction, and the rest of the day you row in the opposite direction. And then you're thinking, I'm a bit far from my destination. I wonder why. Well, we also wonder why. So it's very simple. So what do these yogis do in the rest of the day? Well, many of them, they eat meat and they drink alcohol. It's true. It's true. I was doing some yoga, and there was this yoga teacher in Romania, Indian, and his philosophy was that he has to eat and drink beer with awareness. Like what? No, it was true. You know, that was his actual philosophy, and he was living by his philosophy. You know, and this guy was a yoga teacher. You know, like he was like the. So, yeah, according to the philosophy of Bhagavad-gita and according to real philosophy, if you act the whole day in Tamogun, then the result will be that you're in Tamogun. Doesn't matter that you do half an hour of yoga. Sorry. Pure. Maybe you will be in Mishra Tamogun. There will be some contamination of sattva if you do this half an hour of yoga. And of course, this is a slow model, you know, not what people want, you know. People want the magic pill, you know. I'm in anxiety. Okay, how much time you have? I have to fix it. I have like half an hour. Well, it might take a bit more than that. So it's a very slow model, you know, that you do some actions, and after sometimes, doesn't change overnight. So you need to act in the higher modes for some time. And then something really revolutionary, that passion is not the solution. Most of the whole psychology is based on passion. Okay, are you motivated? Do you have a low self-esteem? Meaning that you're humble. Oh, God forbid. So, are you demotivated? Yes. Yeah, you're the best. Let's motivate you. Yeah, scream with me. Yeah, I am the best. Visualize now. Right. So passion. You have to be motivated. You have to do things. And if you're too active, they cool you down a bit. They give you some drugs. And this is called the disease of the modern day. It's called bipolar disorder. It's hyperactive and I don't know how. Depressive. Yeah. Yeah. So hyperactive. And when you're hyperactive, I have a good friend. He's a devotee, and he has this, like clinical, and yeah, that's how they do it. They all do with medicine. They pull you up, and then where you're a bit hyperactive, he's a bit hyperactive sometimes, and then they calm you down. And when you're too demotivated, they have to send you to the psychologist also to motivate you. So that's it. And their whole life, his whole life, I know him 7-8 years already, probably. Yeah, that's his life. No solution, absolutely no solution. They have no idea how to get him out of this cycle. Of course, he's a devotee and he has some idea, but all this, that's all they do, So every month is like a yo-yo. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Anyway, so they have no idea. Passion is not the solution. What you need to develop is develop some goodness. Which is, so we need some steps towards goodness. Usually it's good to clean your house. Like we clean now, Hopefully after cleaning you feel a bit of goodness. a little bit, It's good. This is probably the best thing for most people. They just clean. And you wake up early. Wow, because time is also in the 3 modes. And if you wake up early, then this is peaceful. And it's good for meditation. You can also chant a bit, think a bit. And after 10, you have to start running. It's different time. And then in the evening, you're usually... So it's good to sleep, You just sleep and then you wake up when there's goodness. And that's it. That's and of course, revolutionary things, like for these people, stop drinking, Stop drinking, stop smoking, stop living. Yeah, stop having sex. And stop eating meat, of course. And that's what's actually needed, Of course, these young people, there's also drinking, and there's also, I was talking with Anay, and he told me it's like it's like a status. If you have these energy drinks in your hand, you're like a high profile. It's true, huh? And all these energy drinks, what's this? This is just a passion. And it's funny, I was just joking with them that you have these funny names for these energy drinks, Burn, Hell. I don't remember what the other. Monster. There's all these crazy names, so you should get it, like, hey, what's going on here? But no, they don't get it, So these young people, they have to have this, but not the small one, When I was young, and you had to drive at night, you got the small one, and you could drive at night because it's not good to sleep while driving, But no, they get this like big thing, and then they are like, oh. Anyway, and of course the mobile phone. This is like, for me it's like sad, You go, you go for Sankirtan and you see these young people, and you see that they are on the phone. They're always on the phone, and they're always scrolling, Ching, ching, ching. They have this Instagram that if you want to post something on Instagram, you have to be less than 1.5 minutes. But that's not they don't reach to 1.5 minutes. They scroll after 3 seconds, Ding, ching, 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 for 1 hour, They're like, come on, just sit down, just watch 1 minute of something. No. So yeah, that's a very revolutionary solution is goodness. You have to cultivate a bit of mode of goodness, cleanliness, good habits, waking up early, meditation, yoga, being vegetarian. And then, yeah, it will be better. Of course, they usually need support networks. What is useful for someone in ignorance is probably the most difficult thing to do. So they do need some support groups usually. Someone to pull you all the time. Hey, what are you doing? And usually they have these things that people who went through this and they support them and so on. And there are of course some specifics for, like for example, for all addictions, there's some specifics. Drugs have a certain type of dependency. Alcohol has a different type. We're not gonna talk about it. Yeah, I'm not an expert on this. And usually the way they actually do it, the way that actually work, they take them out of their home, they put them somewhere, they lock them, and there's no alcohol around, So you go through a detox. Probably there should be also a mobile detox clinic. They will just take your mobile. Stop scrolling. No, you cannot stop scrolling. So they just take your mobile. Yeah, it was. I remember when once I was in India in this. In this Mayavadi ashram anyway. And they said, as soon as I got there, they said, "Do you have a mobile phone?" I said, "Yeah." Anyway, I didn't have a Indian number, so it was useless. So they said, "Give it." So for 5 months, I didn't have any mobile. It was so nice, It was so no scrolling, no nothing. There's nothing to do, Just be real. So the point is, if there's no choice around, then it's easier to give it up. But of course, the problem is that the taste is there. It's here. and this mind, you cannot leave it outside, it's there. And there's an interesting point that actually goodness also is not enough. Goodness is good, yes, but it's not enough. Actually, the modes of nature, they always fight for the supremacy, And it can happen that maybe through a huge effort, you somehow got in goodness. And after sometimes the other modes, they'll say, hey, what about us? And ignorance and passion are pushing at it. Yeah, I used to be in goodness at some point. And so nothing lasts forever in this material world. So if you think goodness is the solution, no. And actually, and from another perspective, attachment to goodness is just as stupid as everything else, because it's material. Sometimes you also devotees or you get some higher taste of this goodness, and then you get attached to it. Yeah, life is good, it's peaceful. In the material world, life is peaceful. No, there's no such thing as peaceful life in the material world. There will be like ups and downs. And then you forget the purpose. So the point is that mode of goodness is not permanent. So even goodness is not a solution. Although it's. So only real solution is to be in Shuddha Sattva, in pure goodness, in spiritual consciousness. Otherwise, modes will always be up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. I was talking with this gentleman, and he asked me, he was sincere, so he asked me how to deal with anxiety. Him, I was half joking, but I told him, you know how to deal with anxiety? You have to go to the spiritual world. And I even told him that, spiritual world, it's called Vaikunta. No anxiety. That's actually, that's what Vaikunta actually means, literally. So this is the solution. There's no other solution. He was looking at me. No, he was actually sincere, and he actually understood the point, So, drugs. There's no drugs in Vaikunta. No problem. Alcohol. No alcohol. No problem. Everything is solved, Motivation. Everyone is motivated in Vaikunta. Everyone is full on 24/7 in Krishna consciousness. They are motivated to serve Krishna, and then and when they finish serving Krishna, they want to serve Krishna some more. That's all. Everyone is motivated. No need for pills. No need for a motivational speaker. What's his name? There's this motivational speaker. I don't want to mention his name. He comes to Europe and comes rarely to Europe, and then he has a full stadium probably, or like something like this, and people pay 1,000 euros. This is the beginning, the starter kit to get motivated. No, that's true, So in spiritual world, this guy will not have any customer. He will go there. We need to find someone who is not motivated. We're all motivated. Thank you. Can you go somewhere else? So everyone is motivated to serve Krishna, and everyone is 24/7 in Krishna consciousness. So that's the solution, actually. That's why Srila Prabhupada says we should be 24/7 in Krishna consciousness. Why? Because we have to maintain the temples. No. No, that's not of course we do have to maintain the temples, but that's not the actual point. The point is, if you're in Krishna consciousness, then you're not in Maya. Then you're not in the modes. So then the modes, when the modes will not attack you. So that's it. It's not because Prabhupada had a big mission and a few people and said that you have to be 24/7 in Krishna consciousness because big mission. No. Prabhupada did all this, so deity worship. What's the purpose of deity worship? So we have to. Otherwise, what do you think the Lord Chaitanya doesn't have enough garlands in the spiritual world? There's no one to make garlands for him. Of course there is, But he's like, hey, these people in the material world, they are just spacing out, and then they're in Maya. Not good. Not very good. Let's give them something to do for Krishna. So that's why we have so many things to do. That's why the temple is meant to be so much activity that you don't have time, So we're in Krishna. If you're in Krishna consciousness, you're beyond the modes. And what's the effect? It's nice. Life is good. And if you're in the modes, not very nice. Sometimes in goodness is so-called nice. Man. So that's the point. And then, of course, Varnashrama is mentioned. What's the purpose of Varnashrama? Yeah, so you have to have a peaceful mind, to become a Brahmana and be worshipped by everyone else. No, I'm just joking. That's I'm a Brahmana. Suckers. Look, I have this thread. No, the point is that you're peaceful, and of course, it's actually in Bhagavad-gita, Krishna speaks. There's this verse that he says 2 times. That is like you have to know you have to do your own duty. And this is actually on the material platform. So it's good to know which Varna you are and act accordingly. I mean, of course, this is very difficult nowadays to know which Varna, because we're Shudras. So, but it's very good to know which of person you are. It's very simple. For example, if you're not a Vaishya, you don't start a business. Because you're not a Vaishya, you're not. It's not your propensity. Nowadays, there's a whole topic is everyone is supposed to be a Vaishya. Everyone is. The American dream is that you are a Vaishya. You make millions and influence people. But if you're not a Vaishya, what to do? Then you'll just lose a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of energy. So it's good to know. I was just talking with some devotee, and as I was looking at him, I was like, you're not a Vaishya, Prabhu. No, because I do this business, I will do this business. And I already saw him, okay, you'll lose like 10,000 euros just to make this complicated arrangement, and then you'll see, no, because I have this partner and so on. No, you just lose a lot of money. And if you're not a Brahmana, then don't study the Vedas. At least not independently, That's funny, the same person. He's studying the Vedas, independently. This Samhita and this Upanishad and this and this. And actually this Upanishad came later, and then according to the scholars, who are the scholars? Oh, Wikipedia, okay, right. All right, man. So, if you're not a Brahmana, don't do this, this kind of things. You're just wasting your time, and after 20 years of studying, I was asking him, because I was like, come on. I give him some argument, but this is from this Upanishad, and this Upanishad is not this. And then I give him the argument, and Srimad Bhagavatam, no, but Srimad Bhagavatam is later. And Bhagavad-gita, no, Bhagavad-gita is also not, this later. I want from the Samhita. Okay, the Brahma Samhita, no. No, this is not. I was like looking at him, and I was like exasperated, and I was like, look, Prabhu, what's your conclusion after 20 years of study? I don't know. I didn't come to a conclusion yet.
So, waste of time. Anyway, the point is that it's good to know your Varna, and it's good to act according to it, and not try to imitate a Varna you are not, like, because sometimes it's like, what? So the purpose, is that you do something, and you are peacefully serving Krishna, like we were discussing yesterday, nectar of instruction. Atihara prayasascha. What's the point of you live simply, you earn a living somehow, and you have a lot of time for Krishna consciousness. That's it. No, you. Yeah. Yeah, of course. This, yes. I was talking with our friend Gabi, and he said before he was chopping the grass more or less by hand or by something, and it would take him half an hour, and then now he bought this machine who is chopping the grass automatically, and it's more or less automatic, but he needs half an hour to fix it after. We are joking because, like... So this is the advancement of technology, like you, instead of half an hour, now you need half an hour. And he was like jokingly, because he's a devotee, so he was joking, we were joking, and he said at least before this half an hour he would spend in the nature cutting the grass, But no, now he's in somewhere and fixing some strange machine which doesn't work, So yeah, don't worry, the AI will solve everything. So, of course, the point is, the whole point of Varnashama, the whole point is that you do something, you earn a living peacefully, and then you have time for Krishna consciousness. That's what's supposed to happen with farms and so on. And of course, it's nice if you can engage your capacities directly in Krishna consciousness, do some service for Krishna according to your propensity. It's good. That's even better. And the solution, the actual solution to all problems is you chant Hare Krishna. We were joking about this youth organization, and where they are, everyone is very demotivated and so on. And the only thing that would work is you take two mridangas, or and you bang a huge kirtan, and you wake them up, and then at the end you give them prasada. That's the only thing that would work, Of course, if you go and tell the leaders of that this kind of ideas, they'll be like, "Oh, these guys are crazy," But that's the only solution. So the solution is for everything is to go beyond the modes. You chant Hare Krishna, you go beyond the modes, and Hare Krishna, that's it. Otherwise, all this fighting with the modes, that you try to get in goodness and you try to get in a higher material position, it's not gonna work. We'll find next verse. Very funny. I always I find it funny when I read this word duratya. It's like very hard to overcome. This very hard to overcome is like a joke. Like you have this guy going against Mike Tyson in the ring, one guy like me, no boxing experience, no experience, and it's like it's gonna be very hard. So it's what's gonna happen, and then usually guys, when you're in such a situation, they will tell you, "Good luck." And they also get some popcorn, you know. Yeah, good luck, my friend. We don't mind if we're around and watch. So that's what Krishna says. This divine energy of mine, if you want to fight with this divine energy, good luck. It ain't gonna be pretty. But if you surrender to me, no problem. Problem solved. Very simple. So that's actually the solution to all the problems. Nobody wins against the material energy. So the whole point is the solution is that you have to engage 24/7 in Krishna consciousness. When they say 24/7, it's 24/7. Because as they say in the Karmi world, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So you're not engaged in Krishna consciousness, you have an idle mind, the mind will come with some ideas. What kind of ideas? Well, it's not going to be in Krishna consciousness, it's going to be something in the modes. And so that's the point, that's this idea, 24/7 in Krishna consciousness. Now, you don't know what you're doing for Krishna? Okay. You're gonna make a mess. Maybe, I mean, depends, you know. Sometimes you'll make a small mess, sometimes you make a big mess. But it's gonna be a mess. So this is the thing. You have to have no time for Maya. 24/7. If you're 24/7, you have no time for Maya. That's why I always call this Haridas Thakur technique. So Haridas Thakur had no time for Maya. Maya came and she said, you know, I would like to enjoy. And Haridas Thakur doesn't say no. He says, yes, sure, good idea. No, we want to enjoy, of course. Let's enjoy. But I don't have time now. I'm a bit busy now. Come back a bit later. How far later? Later. So she's the whole day busy. He's the whole day busy. So this is the solution. You're always busy in Krishna consciousness. You don't have time for anything else. Simple. So you chant Hare Krishna the whole time, and you do some service. And of course, you preach, you help others. Yaradeka Tareka Krishna Upadesha, just to quote this. So this is the solution to all the problems. If you are in anxiety, you have to chant Hare Krishna and help others do some devotional service and help others to chant Hare Krishna. And if you are depressed, the solution is to chant Hare Krishna, do some devotional service, and help others to chant Hare Krishna. And if you have some addictions, the solution is you chant Hare Krishna, you do some devotional service, and help others chant Hare Krishna. And that's it. That's the universal solution. If your partner has left you, yeah, there's a so-called spiritual forum, and they always only things that are there is my partner left me, and this happened and that happened, and his job is not working anymore, and this like what does it have to do with anything? But anyway, if the partner left you, then the solution is very simple. You chant Hare Krishna, you serve Krishna, and you help others to chant Hare Krishna. So yeah, you help your partner, partner or not partner. Yeah. So the point is that this model of the three modes of nature has a solution for everything. You know, you have to get out of ignorance. into passion and goodness, and then you have to go beyond goodness because goodness is not enough. And this solves everything. Any problem you might have, that's the only solution. And there's actually no other solution. There's, the whole world is full of solutions, but nothing works. There was some video with a psychiatrist, and they were asking them how many patients did they cure. You know, not that they are treating them, you know, and putting them in this, that, no. How many did they cure? And they are just laughing, you know, like, cure? No. No, we cannot, we don't know how to cure them, you know. Anyway, so there's no real cure except this Krishna consciousness, or maybe it's for 5 minutes. Okay, we'll stop here if there are some questions, concerns, comments.
You have a question? Oh, okay.
Maybe I have a question.
Okay, because I want to give
He wants to be the important last one. No. Sit down.
I have no question.
No. Okay. Rishabha has a question.
just tell me how much you give. Tell me like about this, when we are in the beginning in Krishna consciousness, because when we have bad habits, we, the moment we kind of stop, we have this tendency to go to these bad habits. So what is recommended is that your authority is pushing you to constantly be engaged in Krishna consciousness. So my question is, for such, such people who are constantly engaged 24/7 in Krishna consciousness, but they are not able to, they do it mindlessly, not able to, really understand what they're doing and such. What kind of benefit, it is beneficial for sure, but what kind of benefit they actually get? Is it something similar to like chanting with offenses and then building up, their sukriti until, something happens, or,
Maybe. I mean, anyway, we're not. How can you force someone to chant 24/7 if he has no idea what he's doing? Like it's just. But yeah, we still recommend people to chant, and we still recommend people not to worry so much about the bad habits. Srila Prabhupada said. I was searching for the quote, but for years, and I still didn't find it. But Srila Prabhupada was saying it was a quote from some commentary in Bhagavatam. He says, we don't ask you to become pure and then join us. We ask you to start chanting, start following the process, and by doing that, you will get purified, and then it will be a lot easier to follow the process. So yeah, I mean, this is also something that we should be very careful with new people to not focus too much on regulative principles. Although, I mean, we're not saying that you shouldn't follow the regulative principles, but the most important thing is chanting, and even more important than chanting and following the process is sadhu sangha, because it's Shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya is built on sadhu sangha. So without sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya will not last for. Chanting without association of devotees will not last very long. Experience. I met so many of these people who come and they chant and they go home, and then after 2 weeks they're finished, you know. So that's what I would say that is important. And yeah, probably you get some, I don't know, Agyata Sukriti, or maybe it's some knowledge is there, you know. And also, you know, like how can you make someone chant if they don't have Shraddha? So it's Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. And of course, Shraddha also comes from Sadhu Sangha eventually, from association of the devotees. So if you ask me, the one thing which I would emphasize for new people is Sadhu Sangha. If they have a proper Sadhu Sangha, a proper association with the devotees, then everything comes later, you know. Knowledge also. And of course, you know, Shraddha, how do you build it? This is called Shastriya Shraddha. So they have to read Prabhupada's books. So that's why we have these reading groups, because we want to, you know, like people don't read, you know. And how do you have a faith? How do you because if you don't know what you're chanting, then it's you know, I don't know, your chanting will not help so much, you know. So that's why we just try to start people to read, you know. And just reading a bit, you see the effects, you know, like just reading a bit and discussing a bit, they're like, wow, this is so nice. I always have we always have these feedbacks, you know. So yeah, I think we should focus on Sadhu Sangha, and as soon as possible to get people to read Prabhupada's books. Yeah. Yeah.
The last one is when you were mentioning about these people that have these old bad habits, and you were saying that you should try to go to the mode of goodness, health, early rising, and everything. But when you speak these things to them, it's like my experience. It looks like they know it's good, but they feel repulsed from it. It's like vegetarianism. It's like, is that like for the weak ones or something? It seems like this all sattvic habits, when you mention to them, they feel repulsed from it. So the question is like, why is it? Is it because they are programmed in a certain way that culturally it's like it's a taboo to speak of, like, why are people repulsed?
Oh, because
they know that it's good.
I mean, of course, but there's we were discussing yesterday, and I mentioned verse this Yanisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashatomuna. What is night for all beings is the time for awakening for the self-control, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective stage. So what for someone in ignorance, the activities of goodness, this seems like night. Night means they're like, it's strange, And for someone in goodness, the activities of someone in ignorance are also like something very strange. So yeah, for someone in Tamogun, this is strange, And of course, if someone has a bit more intelligence than that, then you have this verse in Nectar of Instruction, which says the pastime, the name, form, pastimes, and so on of Krishna are sweet like sugar candy. But because we have this jaundice of avidya, of ignorance, then we don't feel them sweet. And what is the solution? You chant. You do it without feeling. And by doing this, you'll feel. So the point is, if they have enough intelligence to appreciate that this is good for me, this is not something that I'm naturally attracted in, but it's good for me. So then it's good. That is good enough, as far as I understand. Then they can just say, okay, this chanting, because you're a bit contaminated, this chanting is very sweet, but you will not feel it sweet. And the solution is you chant. Chant and you chant and you chant, and gradually you'll feel that, hey, wow, wow, okay. So, I mean, eventually we can use tricks, like this, that. But eventually, if you give them knowledge, then they will be able to appreciate, and then they will be like, yeah, okay, this is not natural. For someone in Tamagun, goodness is not natural. For us, goodness is not natural. For going to Sankirtan is not natural for anyone, Every day I have to pick myself up, like there's 2 minutes where I don't feel like going. And I go. Why? Because it's good. Because I'm convinced, okay, this is good, it's good for me, it's good for Prabhupada will be pleased, it's good for people outside, okay, so let's do it, So that's it. But the point is that's why knowledge is so important. Because at least you know this, I know, okay, that's the difference between Hare Krishna and everyone else. Hare Krishna has many problems. But Hare Krishna at least theoretically knows that, hey, theoretically I know I should be doing this. At least he knows what's the solution, Maybe he cannot do it, maybe he cannot. So that's why if you give people solutions, and if you give knowledge, that's what we're trying to do, If you give them knowledge, that's why we distribute so many books, Of course, not everyone will understand, the books, and not everyone will appreciate, but some people will, So that's why knowledge is so important. And if they have knowledge, then they might even go to the next step. They might even try it. Hey, let's try this Hare Krishna.
It's interesting, Banu Maharaj said that one who have intelligence, you preach philosophy, the one who don't have intelligence, give him prasad and kirtan.
Yeah, I mean, Lord Chaitanya gave kirtan and prasadam. But you need some intelligence to come from kirtan and prasadam. No, you need some attraction, something must be there that you come for the kirtan and prasada. Because I know, like this solution. Yeah, you just invite them and give kirtan and prasadam. Okay, let's make a poster and say kirtan and prasadam, free, paid. Yeah, paid. How many will come? Why not? Because you need enough knowledge that you can understand that kirtan and prasadam is good for me. And then if you're, But eventually, and one more thing, we actually, Srila Prabhupada is talking, when he's talking about Varnashrama, he's always talking about creating a class of Brahmanas. So eventually, even if they come for kirtan and prasadam, you have to, this is just like they get through the door, and eventually you have to put Prabhupada books on their head. Otherwise, they're gonna be...
I think even one verse in Bhagavad-gita, Prabhupada says that the one who read Bhagavad-gita and understands something of it, he will understand that he has to find a devotee to fully understand the Bhagavad-gita, and he will search for the association of the devotees. This is what Prabhupada said in the 9th chapter, or 8th chapter.
Shraddha means sadhu sangha. If you have Shraddha, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, if you have Shraddha, there's 2 consequences. 1, you'll search for the association of the devotees, and 2, you will be willing to do something. You will do something practical of it, not like these Christians. They say, I believe in Lord Jesus Christ. Amazing. I'm like, that's amazing. So what are you going to do about it? And they say, nothing. Because I just accept him in my heart. I'm like, you're, sorry. So Shraddha means that you're willing to do something about it, and you're looking for the association of the devotee. Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of things to say, but okay. Gantara Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki jai.